And the winner is... Arctic Monkeys!
That subscriber content, eh? That subscriber content, it just won't go away.
It might hibernate from time to time and sink back into the swamp. I think the cyclical nature of the universe in which it exists demands it adheres to some of its rules.
But it's always waiting there, just around the corner, ready to make its way into your ears and smash through the gated payment system, sounding better than ever.
And there's nothing you can do about it.
Benefits such as getting ad-free episodes a week early with pre- and post-show chat relating to the monkeys, last Shadow Puppets episodes, bonus podcasts, watch-alongs, plus helping us improve our sound with better equipment and services.
Yeah, this podcast seems like it's fading away sometimes, but with subscribers, it will never die. Thank you very much for listening. We do truly appreciate it. Don't take that the wrong way.
Yeah, we'll invoice you for the subscription if we need to.
We're Arctic Monkeys. This is Don't Believe the Hype.
That rock and roll, eh? Ladies! That sound means it's the end of the round. Time for the bonus question. Cheers, dude. That man just yawned. We're gonna call it
Don't Believe the Hype.
Hello, yes, you heard the man. This is Don't Believe the Hype, Series 3, Episode 13 of the podcast that is going through the discography of Arctic Monkeys in a fantastic amount of detail, even if we do say so ourselves. Yes, every week we are covering a song from the vast discography of the band of a generation. And they definitely are the band of a generation, considering what we just had to review in the... pre-show subscriber-only chat. Check that out.
So I'm trying to put.
But joining me.
me.
Okay, but we'll get there. It's all right. We're vibing. Joining me as ever, Nick. He knows how to put a cork in the fuss. It's not the only thing he knows how to put a cork in. I've had some wild nights with this man. It's Dan.
Hello.
Hello.
I always come into this podcast cheery. Maybe because I'm saving my sort of in the other podcast, it's a comedy one. I'm trying to save my sort of energy for the meat of it, you know. But yeah, no, I'm good. How are you? Well, I was good until we covered the new Libertines album in the pre-show chat and had to be like 18-year-old me. It's like I'm kicking 18-year-old me down the stairs, deaf on the stairs.
Genuine, it's a good job I went into that expecting nothing and I got nothing, so it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's very much how I spent
your
the
dates,
last 15 years of supporting my football team as well. I
Oh,
expect
don't.
nothing, I get nothing. But now I expect something and get it. So is that worse?
Come on. I'm
Is
going
that
to edit
worse?
this out, so there's no point. But yeah, it was sad. But we're good because we get to recover a great song. And you see, the band that never lets us down, the band whose B-sides never let us down either. So, you know, what can you say better than that? We're excited to cover a song that isn't even on the album. There's no other band on the planet that I could say that about, I think.
You know how excited I am? I'll tell you how excited I am. There you go.
For the listeners, that Nick just tried to play a harmonica, but it was dry. He dry harmonica'd.
Can do.
Yeah.
Friday night. Got a dry harmonica on a Friday night. I don't think you're meant to wet it. I don't think it's meant to be wet.
No, I mean it was dry, like dry. Nothing came out, like dry.
It did. The mic just mustn't have picked it up.
Oh, it didn't pick it up then because I heard nothing. I just thought you shamelessly fucked it up. Nothing. I've told you before. The mics don't pick up the high pitched noises like that.
Yeah, it doesn't pick up when you play bits of the song in the pre-show either. But I didn't want to tell you.
Does it not? It
does
does
a bit.
I've heard them on my.
It comes and goes.
Oh yeah, but it's more for me that to remember what I'm trying to say. But
it comes and goes, much like Karma Chameleon.
Come and go. He's still alive.
Karma Catapult Chameleon.
Yeah. But yeah, nothing came out then, so I just assumed you fucked it up.
No. It was a lovely little
go-to with.
It was basically a note-for-note rendition of the end of "Can't Stand Me Now" by the Libertines, but you didn't hear it, so.
Okay, so nothing did come out then, right? So anyway, Catapult is Catapult is the song
by
we're
Arctic
doing.
Monkeys.
The song we're doing. It's a song we're doing, and I want to hear it. But the question is, do we have a live version of it?
We do not, because the live versions that I found on
Ah,
YouTube
I
filmed
know.
through a potato and do not have good sound on them.
There was one where I don't know if you saw it. There was one where the image looked like it was an actual recording, and then it wasn't. They tricked us.
Yep.
Oh well.
Yep.
Still worth listening to the recorded version.
Yeah, I won't
It is a
pretend my
tune.
evening wasn't ruined by that, but it won't be ruined by this.
To listen to him pissing and hang around to watch some poor girl blow. And then they chase him down the avenue, incessantly pestering him to let him join the club. He knows how to put a cork in the foot and just has to shut up the charming ones of us. And I've seen him talking to your lady friend. There's a Dutch track waiting for betrayal. Well, he'll teach you all the bits they miss. Nice try, you cannot turn away, but nice try. Nice try, you cannot turn away, but nice try. Nice try, you cannot turn away, but nice try. Nice try, you cannot turn away, but nice try. You cannot turn away.
Yeah, that's it. Yes.
You can't beat a bit of B-side.
You cannot. Cheers, Jim.
I mean, what a song. What a B-side.
Awesome, innit?
What a song to
What a
not be on an
B-side. Crash
album.
Bang Wallop. What a
Bang
B-side.
Bash Wallop, what a B-side. Yeah, it's great that. You just can't say better than that, can you really? What
Nope.
more do people
But-
want?
You can. Well, I think, Dan, they want some information.
They can
do
have
you
it.
not think?
The information action ratio, ain't that the place to go?
I feel like I've had to go hyper to kind of counteract the deep depression that the pre-show chat put me in. So, an
fair
album
enough.
I definitely won't be listening to ever again. But maybe one song on there. In fact, not even that, if I'm honest. So, but next week on the pre-show, if you want to sign up, Black Keys, new album, covering, boom. Hopefully better, hopefully. But you know,
Hope.
now I'm set in disappointment mode. So, but Catapult released on the 16th of November 2009 on the Cornerstone EP is 3 minutes and 26 seconds long and has 10.6 million streams on Spotify, which is quite a lot. In fact, it's the most streamed B-side of this era. Would you believe?
Ooh.
Yeah, 10.6.
That sound means it's the end of the round. Time for the bonus question.
The question is, Nicholas, can you tell me the most streamed track in the next era, the next series? Suck it and see. The B-side. Sorry, most streamed B-side.
Stream B-side of Suck It and See. I would say
One
it
guess.
would be Evil Twin.
You would be correct to say Evil Twin. You would be the good twin if you said that, because that is the correct
Won't go
answer.
that far.
Well, no. Definitely not. How evil would the evil one have to be if you were the good one? But Evil Twin has 14.9 million streams on Spotify. So yeah, good for a B-side, isn't it? But
Really good.
back to catapult me back to my daddy, my information. It is 151 beats per minute and is in the key of A minor. The song has been played live 17 times by Arctic Monkeys. Firstly at House of Blues Boston, And lastly, on April 1st, 2010, at the Fillmore Miami Beach, the Jackie Gleason Theatre, I believe.
Oh, so all the Septics are getting it again. Septics getting the good B-sides.
They always do get the more interesting sets. That's why I'd love to go and see them in America, because they get the more interesting ones. Because as I've said before, they're more freed up to do what they want without a load of us moaning. They didn't play Teddy Picker, so yeah, and they still get moaned at, even though they do on it. So I'd say next tour I just go, well, fuck them then. This tour we did the most like hits we've ever done in a tour, even though we had a new album out, and we still got whinged at. So fuck them. Let's just go out and just do Tranquility twice.
Did a career-spanning
Let's run through Tranquility
twice.
twice.
Album. I'd be happy with that.
I would be happy with that. Actually. Maybe not twice, but yeah, maybe Tranquility and then a string of the B-sides. That would be lovely, wouldn't it? What a gig that'd be.
Tranquility and every B-side done,
Oh,
but
God,
not the first album ones. Not show them.
Yeah.
No bigger voice and stolen sweethearts for you.
Yeah. All the B-sides except the. On my Ford a home, on my Ford a home. Remember last week you fell into the trap?
No.
Was that last week or was it the week before? I can't remember.
Last week it was.
Yeah.
Once again, it's a tough one, this. I mean, given the subject matter, but given what it's probably about, but we know he was present anyway. But then again, it's hard. This right. I'm gonna go Ford.
No, it's Hom.
See, I only went Ford because I just thought I'd go the opposite of what I actually
That's
think.
the trap. That's the trap.
That's right.
Well, remember we had a theory.
I'm stuck in a loop
that...
now. I'm stuck in a loop every week. I'm gonna have to go for the opposite one.
What was our theory? Our theory was that the rest would be Hom because the reason Ford did I Haven't Got My Strange was because they said it was from the Favourite Worst Night. No, it wasn't that one, was it? What have we done on the B-sides? We've done Red Right Hand and Haven't Got My Strange. Is that all we've done? That's all we've done, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, you remember? Oh, yeah, they said, I think it was I Haven't Got My Strange, they said they wrote during Favourite, it was, wasn't it? Yeah, they wrote it during Favourite Worst Nightmare period, so we said maybe that's why Ford produced it. But the rest might all be Hom, so we shall see, I guess. Our theory is holding up so far.
Yeah. It is so far.
This made me laugh while I was trying to find some stuff out about this song. According to the this a helpful comment left on a post by somebody called Mr. Quick. They put a cornerstone.
That's my Tinder name.
It's not. I know it's not.
That's very quick.
A cornerstone is someone who can only have good sex when they are stoned. Apparently.
Oh, that's
not
my
true.
Tinder name. God.
I don't know how much validity is in that statement, but they claim that's what
There's
the
only one
slang
way
for
to find
cornerstone is. Oh, not the actual validity of the statement. I know that's true, but it's not only good when you're high. Oh, that's someone who can only have sex when they're stoned. So they're
Snoop
like,
Dogg.
just someone who can. Well, that's just because he's stoned all the time. That's just sort of coincidental. There,
Yeah, it's just default setting.
I don't know whether it's true or not. Whether that's a real slang that exists or not. But I very much doubt Alex was using it in Cornerstone. If it is, which I don't even think it is. So,
I don't think it is.
Yeah, I definitely don't think that it is. But the show goes on. The show goes on.
You could say they're selling like ghost cookies.
Ooh, you're excited now. You didn't know that was coming. It's a bit of a change up in the old ghost
knew
cookie
something was afoot.
because I was stalling because I couldn't find it.
Because you were stalling a bit. Yeah, I thought you'd broken. But...
I couldn't. I thought it would be higher up for some reason, but it wasn't. Because it's an older one.
We're not going to need it. Yeah. They're all in
So
order when we use
I've
them,
changed the
usually.
format of this a bit for this because do you remember? Because this charted. So it's not how many records. Do you remember on the Cornerstone when we said Sketch had reached 80 on the chart? charts, which was 14 places higher than Cornerstone's peak position of 94. Well, can you guess where Catapult charted?
Right, so now this is really hard because I'm trying to think of it in terms of because I have nothing to inform this apart from Sketched getting to what 80. Sketched got to.
Sketched got to 80 in Corners, but Cornerstone only got to 94. So
Well,
Sketched charted higher than Cornerstone.
They only
Why?
measure a top 100, don't they?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. Is there not a top 250?
I don't think so.
That might be films. It can't be films coming up. But I don't know. But I don't know on that one.
No,
I've seen top 250 written down. Wait, let me go back to. Wait. No. Carry on. I
Either
think
way,
it
it
might be
got higher.
250. But you know.
The very fact that the way that you answered my question then suggests that it was still in the top 100. So
Well, yeah,
I'm gonna
let's assume to help you out. Yeah, it's in the top 100. Otherwise, I wouldn't be bringing it up.
76.
Final answer.
I mean, there's no money riding on it, so
That's what you think. I'm bringing someone else in to do the podcast if you don't.
just
get
have
it
it.
right. So the song reached number 35 in the charts. So 50, and this is according to officialcharts.com. The song reached 35 in the charts, so 59 places higher than Cornerstone. And I suspect that's because everyone had heard Cornerstone. So when they released the everyone kind of, I mean, it was the vinyl release, wasn't it? But I don't know if streamings were around then. If people were probably listening to these two B-sides more than you would listen to Cornerstone because you've already heard Cornerstone on the album. So
I feel like my dad just told me he's gay.
told me a long time
Genuinely,
ago.
like,
But,
genuinely, like, really shocked. It's like, oh, I'd never have thought.
crazy, isn't it?
thought it.
Crazy, innit? Yeah. Top 35 and got so 59 places than Firestone. Cornerstone. Firestone. You have to be Firestone because to get good sex apparently in Cornerstone.
Apparently.
But yeah, mad that, innit?
Wow.
Crazy.
I'll try and carry on, but that's blown my mind. That may be the thing that's blown my mind most doing this show. That's just.
Got some reviews?
Do.
Enemy is the only place to go for a review of this. Obviously, as we know. So Enemy's list placed this at a very respectable number 32, saying obscured by the regality of its A-side Cornerstone, this hidden treat is one of the greatest examples of Turner's nimble, vivid, and wickedly funny wordplay. One place higher than Teddy Picker on the list, I noted. Teddy Picker came in at 33, Catapult at 32. So think what you will about that, Moncozos.
Well, that's well done, Enemy. Well done.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff, Enemy. So yeah, this one, like it.
It's a lovely tune. Really,
It is a really good song, isn't it?
Going in, I thought it was my pick of the B-sides from this era, and
yeah,
it's gonna have some stiff competition next few weeks.
did
to be
you really?
honest, but
yeah, I've not. I definitely know what I think the best one is, and one that's got a soft spot. This probably comes in a bit, not even second probably, but it is a really good. It is a really good tune, and it's just got that kind of cool acoustic riff, atmospheric, desert rocky, but in an acoustic way.
you almost think with the at the start, you'd think it could have fit either of the previous two eras as a B-side. Like,
Yeah. Sorry, I could just hear a dog
Like,
howling, but it's not my dog. It must be on TV. I was like, how's she doing that howl? I've never heard her go that tiny.
it's a new
It
one.
must be on the TV.
Sure, he does that when Nick comes around.
Oh.
It's yeah. At the start with the acoustic intro and everything, you think, well, this could fit on Favourite Worst Nightmare or whatever people say I am as a B-side there, and then we go into the Desert Rock sound, and it's quite clear that this is very much of this era. There's points where I think maybe not so much whatever people say I am actually, maybe mostly Favourite Worst Nightmare. I think it could have
I'd say
fit in that
so,
era
yeah.
amongst stuff like Bakery, but maybe that's just coloured because we've got the acoustic version of Bakery.
Well,
If
no,
that
because
didn't
we
exist,
did.
maybe.
We did say in places I haven't got my strange could sound like it would be on Favourite Night, which in fact they did right during that. So this one could also be.
Yes.
So it's, I
Yeah.
don't think it's that. In fact, this one has another part that I can't remember what it is, but it'll be in my notes that reminded me of a Favourite Worst Nightmare sound. So yeah, I think you're right. I think it does have that kind of. But then I think, like you say, it's the acoustic, and then the kind of amazing bass line comes in and sort of changes it like that. What a bass line again! He's smashing these B sides, isn't he?
Absolutely, man. Yeah. He's not even phoning it in for the B-sides.
No, and I suppose why do people? Because people don't know they're going to be B sides till after you've done the album, do they? So I suppose
Exactly,
every
yeah.
track has to be great, doesn't it? And then you just kind of decide why they decided the bad thing. Alex will never know. But
I will say now, best B-side band since Oasis.
do you think that's the biggest
Love or
mistake
hate
Arctic Monkeys have
Oasis,
ever
the
made?
B-sides were awesome.
What do you think the biggest mistake they've ever made as a band is? What on the table
Going
has
to
got to
America
be?
and going up their own asses.
Get out now! Get
According
out
to
now!
what I read on the interwebs.
No, I reckon. Well, this is one again. As I'm going to point out from now on this podcast in all the sort of American. Well, I guess people say this one, Suck It and See in Places, and AM particularly are the ones where they go all American. I'm going to be pointing out. I'm going to make a point. In fact, we should come up with a jingle for it, pointing out all the sort of Englishness or the northern isms. The sort of maybe we should come up with a jingle for that because we're going to need an alarm for that because there's so many and there's some in this as well. That it doesn't even make sense.
Did we not discuss that and decide there was a jingle we were going to use for it?
No, I know we discussed it on. We've kind of mentioned in passing a couple of times, but I don't know if we decided on one. I can't think if it was. I can't think now what it.
What about the bit on Evil Twin where Helders goes?
Oh, if we can get a good and make it louder so people can hear it better on the jingle, yeah, that would be.
There's good live. There's good
That'd
live
be
versions of that.
good
So I
live
think we'll
versions. Yeah, okay, that could be a good one.
have a look for that.
But yeah, there'll be something.
I'm sure it was something off. I'm sure it was something off Tranquility. I'm sure there was a lyric off Tranquility that we discussed for it.
Probably. That's usually where we end up when we're trying to. Which is quite interesting, isn't it? That a lot of the jingles and stuff come from. Well, they don't. Obviously, I think. What have we got? What is it? Well, there's two straight away from three from Tranquility. To be fair, 4, 5, 6,
The original
7.
alarm comes from Tranquility.
7. The alarms come from Tranquility. The original alarm comes from Tranquility. Yeah, the information is Tranquility. The reviews is Tranquility. The bonus question is Tranquility. The cover band one is Tranquility. The John Kennedy one is Tranquility. The shipping forecast is Tranquility Era. The AI one is Tranquility. And yeah, the alarm. So that's 8, yeah. but that says a lot about the lyrics on that album, perhaps.
Yeah, a
As
wider
we'll get
range
to.
of stuff that we can.
As we'll get to in due course.
wait.
Due course, excellent. But I think I think amazing bass line. Classic Helders Nick combo again. Just steadying the ship with Helders as well. I love it when, as much as I love Helders' flourishes, I love it when he's just steadying the ship. Just doing a great work. Great work. Yeah, like a sort of.
He's very much a defensive midfielder.
I was just
at
going to
this
say he's
point.
like a defensive
He's
midfielder.
mopping up.
Yeah, but he's got the capability. He's like a defensive midfielder that can also move into the attack when needed. Can push forward.
It's-
Who's the best
yeah.
at that in the league? Man City player in it. I think it is.
Yeah, Rodri. Probably
Rodri.
Rodri.
Yeah, I was gonna say Rodri.
Yeah,
Yeah,
as
Rodri,
much
yeah.
as I fucking hate his face, it's probably him.
Steady in the ship. Oh, nice little lead guitar. Ethereal lead guitar.
Ethereal is a great word to describe it. In fact,
Yeah, I'm
that's the
quite happy
word.
with that.
That's one of the words we've been searching for some of Jamie's guitar work. I think.
Yeah, we finally got it.
Ethereal.
Boy. Yeah, Ethereal is
Finally got it just as we're coming out of it.
But it's just got there's just something about that guitar, and there's two kind of Jamie Cut specials. There's the Ethereal sound, and then he does these little Jamie Cut rock specials as well in there. Like, so there's two going on during this. Amazing. I guess Jamie Cut specials would be one of them. If we started selling merch, message us if you'd ever be interested in merch, because we can do that. Jamie Cut specials would be one of the merch items, wouldn't it, that we would sell? Yeah, just all very atmospheric of a piece. The Jamie Cook stuff on this, all of it, to be fair, plays into it. But yeah,
He's a good vibesman. Jamie Cook is.
Vibes, yeah. I can imagine him. That's what he does. Creates the atmosphere, creates the vibe. But yeah, that kind of.
Can you imagine him being first in the studio and he's just like noodling around and messing, and that sort of creates the atmosphere for the rest of the session.
Synthesizer.
Moog synthesizer. Do you reckon he ever get there and Jamie's behind the drums and Held is off like?
I used to always
Get
do
on
that
it.
if I got to band practice first to get behind the
Yep.
drums.
That's what you do. And play "We Will Rock You" by Queen. Always.
Try to. Yeah. But yeah, no, nice little. I wonder when you stay. Like when they made the car and they're staying in like the hotel of the place and just going out into the studio. I wonder if it's like you get up. That must be so cool. Like you get up, you have your breakfast. Maybe some of you are sort of doing other things for a little bit. And one of you just takes your coffee and just goes into the studio, starts noodling about. People slowly enter. Just Alex playing a little riff on the piano as they all fill.
Free and easy, creative vibe.
Sort of coffee on top of the keyboard, and he's just playing trying a few little riffs on the piano, and they're sort of sauntering in, chatting around him. Ugh. I like that. On a cold, crisp British morning,
Oh. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe I can set a mood.
Maybe you can.
But
We
not
try.
a Moog synthesizer. Just a mood. Not Moog. I don't know what I'm saying. Just say words now.
I don't know where you got with this. Riffing.
But that whole period is great. It's got that atmospheric sound, but then we get like a double stop, like a fast one, and then we go into a great rocky and dirty, but crucially catchy lead. Very catchy. Beautifully catchy, yeah. Very it's almost poppy catchy, but it's dirty and rocky, which is always useful. Like a sort of I guess kind of who sort of pop like a Foo Fighters riff or something, Something that's catchy and but also a bit dirty and rocky. I meant that in a good way.
Yeah. Yeah, no, but I just
As
don't
a
like
comparison,
being
but
reminded
that was
that
good
Foo
for
Fighters
Arctics.
exists, really.
Well, I couldn't think of anyone else off the. I was going to say Royal Blood, but they've sort of gone down the pan, so can't think of anyone else. But Queens of Stone Age, I guess they do that.
Yes.
But yeah, just sort of it's got this kind of rocky, vibe to it, and it's cool and it's dark, but it's fun and it's catchy. Takes you on a journey. This song down the dusty track, you might say.
Beat me to it. Beat me to it. Yes.
You might say. Yeah, it's just got this. It's just got this really sort of It's weird to have because like sort of the moodier ones with the sort of rocky riffs on Humbug. They're not always as fun, but this one is fun and it has that, but it's also quite fun to listen to and catchy. Yeah, and also the lyrics are a bit comical as well. I think so.
Yeah,
Like,
that really
probably
adds
the
to
most
it, I think.
comical we've had on this album, I'd say so far. Actually, trying to think what's
So
been more
far,
comical than this.
yes.
In fact, the fact that is true for 2 of the B-sides in this era, at least.
I know which one you're thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah, but sort of more, not as metaphorical and trying to say something, but more just bit funny. His lyrics, bit like the first album.
Almost going
you know?
back to basics, like the early days.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's still
Yeah.
always there. Yeah, and we've seen
Maybe
elements of that all the way through.
Because you could kind of say that lyrically, this is like a kind of grown-up brainstorm. Couldn't you? I know we're not at the lyrics yet.
Yeah.
This is like a
Yeah, I
sort
like
of-
that.
Yeah, a grown-up one version of that. This fella that's a
Yeah.
bit of everything. He's there and he's gone. But
He's a god, he's a ghost,
yeah,
he's a
that's
man,
got
he's a
that, innit?
guru.
That's good, that actually.
Put that on a t-shirt.
Cool, good one, Dan.
Hey Dan, do you like listening to popular songs with questionable lyrics?
You know I bloody do. And Nick, do you like drinking copious amounts of alcohol?
Nah, do I ever? Actually a worry.
Well, if you're the same as us, then come listen to a weekly podcast, Liquor and Lyrics, where we take apart popular music's worst songwriting whilst drinking our favourite drinks, which kind of stay in theme with the song.
From gin and tonic to Grease Lightning,
Cosmopolitans with Chaz and Dave,
Blue Lagoons with Busted,
Sex on the Beach with Sex on Fire,
Shirley Temples with Shaggy.
and even a shandy with Sharon.
Dropping on Tuesday the 19th of September and every Tuesday after on your favourite podcast platform.
But then, yeah, nice little classic Monkeys. This was the bit that reminded me. It goes. It's kind of like this. It's Teddy Picker sound, D's for Dangerous sound with the guitar. The kind of like a sort of I can't explain it, but the bit of Teddy Picker where it'd be like or D's for Dangerous, that like where it does that. It does that. It's very Favourite Worst Nightmare, that bit. That was kind of the bit that reminded me of it, but like with the Humbug sound. I mean, I guess that's kind of what they did with each album until Tranquility. And again, this is somewhat we'll talk to around AM, is they're just doing what they always did, but they're adding new elements to it and making everything better and making the sound different. But basically still the same thing, and AM does that more than any other. The AM and obviously, yeah, we'll get to that, but whatever people say, I'm an AM are intrinsically linked to me in terms of that and everything in between as well. And that's kind of why my theory is that after AM, it was closing that book on the first 5 albums, and that's why we had to move into a new period, because it does feel like from the beginning, it does feel like everything they did for that, they formed in 2002, everything they did for that 11 years was building towards making AM, which is the perfect Arctic Monkeys album in terms of Arctic Monkeys in that era, in that sound. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's like the culmination with the hip hop and the rock and the American influence and the Josh Homme influence and the Suck It and See melodic stuff and the Submarine and Last Shadow Puppets, even all of that is built to AM, and then that's why it has to go after that.
Yeah, because Favourite Worst Nightmare, we've properly happened on something here. The Favourite Worst Nightmare elements of the first album are in there. Elements of Favourite Worst Nightmare are present in this era. Elements of this era present in the Suck It and See era. Suck It and See has the whole American vibe and takes that and perfects it in AM. And then, like you say, chapter closed, done. And then we get Tranquility, and then elements of that come over to the car. So whether we'll see the chapter closed on that, or whether
Well,
the
it
car
will.
will be
We're never
just-
gonna have anything that resembles the first 5 now. We're in a different phase, and
No, I mean, whether we're going to get anything that resembles the last one now. That's the interesting one, I think.
I think we'll have elements of, because I would say that although we're saying it elements of the last one and this one, it's still eating up them all. So there's still, if you look for it, there's still elements of whatever people say I am on AM. You know, it's all there. So, you know, particularly, lyrically, there's
AM's the closest to what people say. I mean, that respect,
yeah,
lyrically.
lyrically, because there's not a lot of difference between Why Do You Only Call Me When You're High and The View from the Afternoon. Like a part of The View from the Afternoon. Sorry, you know, the whole texting her when you're drunk, chapter and verse. You know, it's kind of just a progression on from that. So, yeah, I think, and the riffs are, you know, at this point, Fake Tales of San Francisco isn't a million miles away from Teddy Picker, and Teddy Picker isn't a million miles away from Crying Lightning, and Crying Lightning isn't a million miles away from, I guess, what song on? I guess they kind of do those riffs, but melodically on Suck It and See. It's the same kind of thing, but they're doing a. Do you know what I mean? Like Reckless Serenade isn't a million miles away from the Roots of the Rubble in terms of a riff, but it's just different.
Oh, absolutely.
It's just in a different place, yeah. So not that he did that bass, but you know what I mean. But so yeah, it all developed to that, and then now we're in a new phase. And Tranquility being the bass for that is fine by me because I think it's a wonderful album. And isn't it funny though? If we are using that theory, we would say out of the first 5 albums, our least favorite album is
Favorite Worst Nightmare.
Favorite Worst Nightmare, which is the second album of that period. And out of the new period and overall, generally, we would say our least favorite album is
The Car. That's the second thing that's blown my mind on tonight's show. This is unprecedented.
We would say, and you would say that kind of groundbreaking album. What would you say? I guess you have to throw AM in there. But in terms of like hearing something and going, oh wow, this is like nothing I've ever heard before, and it's captured my imagination. Out of all the albums, you would say when we were younger, whatever people say, I'm grabbed that. But what would you say is the next album that did that? Where you went, as much as we enjoyed AM, I would say that Tranquility is the one that grabbed me and went, wow, this is new. Yeah, this is different.
As much as I liked AM, like sonically, it's very much doing similar stuff.
Like
as they've said, like they're influenced by a lot of like rap and R&B and hip hop and stuff like that with that album, like as they always have been. But it really came through on that album. So even though I really loved that album at the time when it first came out, there's still an element of Tranquility is the first one where it was like wow, this is out there. Yeah.
So the question is, that mean if we follow the trajectory, then the third album is the kind of humbug of the time, which will mean that it will be a change up again. I mean, I'm not saying that this is a tried method. It's not like they're going to do the fifth album of this era is going to be when it all comes together and it's going to be like, oh wow, they did it again. I'm not saying that.
They're certainly not thinking like that, but that's just how it comes across from what
I'm not saying they're going to repeat the pattern. What's more important is that I think that's why it had to change after AM, because they'd done that. They did the perfect. Essentially, the Arctic Monkeys that we know before that point, AM was the perfect Arctic Monkeys album. I'm not saying it's my favorite or it's the best Arctic Monkeys album. I'm just saying from a kind of sound point of view, they did everything that they built towards with that album. So I bet from their point of view, that was like, I mean, Zane Lowe said it, AM is a perfect album. I mean, you can't, whatever you think of it, it is a perfect album. There is nothing wrong with AM. Much as we might go sometimes like, there is absolutely not one thing wrong with AM, in my opinion. There's nothing wrong with it. So, and the B-sides. So it makes sense then. You perfected that. You did that thing. What are you going to do next? You can't do that again. So now we have to really change it. Probably why you couldn't write songs anymore on the guitar at that point. But I think the reason why we think the next one's going to be rockier is because we think couldn't do the guitar, got into the guitar a little bit more with the car, and throughout the car tour has got more back into being able to utilize his guitar and enjoying it, which is why I think the next album's going to have a lot more songs written on the guitar. But you know, as I say, I'm never fucking right with them. They'll do something else. They'll probably do some jazz heavy metal album something. And
if anyone is listening to what we've just said and disagrees that he seems to have found a love for the guitar again, go and watch Body Paint live at Glastonbury.
Just watch and then
come back,
Body Paint,
and then come back and apologise.
Even at the start of the tour, when did Body Paint on Jimmy Fallon, just that first one was like, he was clearly loving it then. So, yeah, so I think that's what's going to happen. He's going to have a real love of the guitar. Maybe get his plectrum back. and bring the
yeah,
plectrum back.
yeah.
Do a few more
Comeback
edits.
that'd be a comeback of the century. That
But yeah,
biggest comeback
yeah.
since Kim Kardashian.
Don't steal Chris
She'd
Pratt's
come on her
blooper.
back in the video.
Yeah, we know. We've all seen it, Nick.
That just came up in my YouTube recommendations about 10 minutes before I started this, and it's been there in the corner of my eye ever since.
Shame he went weird, isn't it? But yeah, good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Catholic. But we've gone off course there, but it was a good off course. I think it was a good off course. Although I do think we've had this conversation several times before, we just forget and it comes up again, and we'll have it in the AM area definitely, and at some point during second series.
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah, and you can carry on paying for it as well if you want to be a
Mm.
subscriber. You can check the episode description and look at our subscriber stuff as well as all our social media accounts. Give us a follow, like, rate, review, subscribe. Carry on.
Yeah, we're going to be doing 2 Hearts in 2 weeks soon, and we're going to be doing a watch along of all the view froms, aren't we? So
Yes.
come
We'll be
join us
doing
for
2
a
Hearts in
little
2
while.
weeks in the next 2 weeks.
In the next 2 weeks, we will. Yeah, not twice though.
We'll see how it goes.
Then we get a nice few moments of.
Oh yeah, we're doing a song, aren't we?
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
So we had the kind of like Favourite Worst Nightmare bit, and then we get a nice few moments of acoustic and drums on their own. Nice little breakdown there, just there, which is nice. And then we get an explosive solo. Which is really nice, very nice. That, and it doesn't sound like. I think this solo doesn't. It sits somewhere between Queens of the Stone Age, Humbug, and Favourite Worst Nightmare. This solo, it's got a nice. It's their own kind of sound there. It's this different sound that you don't hear a lot. This, yeah, very nice, very nice, and nice with the bass as well. This bit, the bass goes well with the solo. Good Nick and Jamie work. Oh, would it be Alex? I don't know, because there's an acoustic. There's 2 guitars at one point. I don't know what's going on, but I don't know when they did it live.
I'm imagining Alex is on the acoustic. So have we ever seen?
Yeah,
Jamie
but I
with an
reckon when they
acoustic?
recorded, Jamie did. I reckon when they recorded it, Alex did the solos as well. I think.
Oh,
That
yes,
tends to
yeah,
be the rule of thumb, doesn't it? Yeah. Then we do a quick like stop again. One of the little stop, double stop.
It's not finished.
And back into the catchy rocky part of the song. We still need to cut up. Quick, back into the catchy rocky part of the song. Really fun and catchy, but rocky song. And yeah, just cool and fun.
Yeah, that's
See
the
how
point
many
where
times I
it
can say the
becomes
word
clear
fun.
that
And,
where it's so humbug at that point.
yeah. There's some nice stops in this bit as well to do little bits, where the rest of the instruments stop, and it's very brief, but they sort of stop very briefly, and the guitar just does it's like a second. And I mean, I just think like timing wise, wow, but they just sort of stop, and he does a little guitar thing, come back in while it's singing as well, I think, which is even better. But yeah, and then we get a little Helder's drum segue, classic Helder's drum segue.
Classic
there.
Helder's drum segue.
Yeah, lovely stuff. Nothing too flashy though. He kept it reined in. He just went. This just requires a little, move over. Get me there. Get me to A and B, Mr. Helders. And do it in that sexy way that you do.
Do that sexy way.
My own sexy personal lollipop lady. Take me across the road, boy.
Oh, that's disgusting. I don't want that. It was the eye contact, to be honest.
Americans and other people listening going, "What the fuck's a lollipop lady?"
What do
but
they
yeah,
call them over there?
I don't
Crossing
know.
guard.
I don't know. Do they have them? Yeah.
Bullet shield, probably. I bet a lot of them get shot, don't they? By angry drivers.
But then it changes up completely after that bit, after the drum segue, doesn't it? Into a very my favourite bit of the song, actually, probably.
Yeah.
Overall, a very Western sound.
Yes, I love that.
This was the bit that I thought was a bit TLSP with that
Yes,
guitar. That
it
guitar
is.
is
It
very Western. That
absolutely
yeah. You can imagine someone walking on a horse across the dusty
Walking on the
trail.
horse.
Well, you know, walking. Horses
Riding.
walking them. Riding, that's the word I'm looking for.
That's the word
Riding,
you were looking for.
Hot to trot. Yeah, riding a horse slowly across a desert plain with the trail. And I mean that from without listening to the bit that he says during that bit as well, which obviously says just trot, but like when I was listening to it instrumentally, you can hear it even more with the guitar is doing that kind of westerny sound. Lovely,
Don't they just play Red
lovely
Dead now?
change up, great change up. Another
Fantastic
great change
change
up.
up.
Another great change up. Like we said, other bands don't get enough change ups. Arctics do a lovely change up, and then back down to acoustic, like the intro. But then as the bass, we get a very nice fast bass as well. That kind of
Very westerny
very
again.
Yeah, very cool. Some tambourine maybe in the background as well.
It sounds like a bit of tambourine, doesn't it?
Tambourine, yeah. It doesn't sound just like a cymbal top. It sounds like a bit tambourine. Tambourine from the Howler Man. Yeah. Love that bass. I do love the bass in this. Yeah. It's kind of almost the bass as ever is kind of rock but funky vibe as well. And it carries
It's
on
that
into the
sweet
outro.
spot again that he's just perfected.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just that kind of it's rocky and it's dirty, but it's just got this like
You never fail
kind
to
of
be
want to do a
amazed
bit of
by
like,
it.
yeah. Yeah, it's quite a skill that to be rocky because you don't get a
Makes
lot
you want
of...
to open your shirt wide.
Yeah. I reckon Arctics, if they wanted to, could do a really good sort of 80s hair metal album with Mr. O'Bally slapping the bass.
Slap at the bass.
Slapping the bass. I reckon.
I'd be all for that.
My dream actually, rather than doing a 70s rock album next, would be based off I Ain't Quite Where I Think I Am. Or better, like sort of perfecting that kind of sound would be their kind of Young Americans. That's kind of where I would... Their brass construction. You know what I mean? That would be... I'd be all over that. That would be...
soul.
Yeah.
Love
That
that.
would be... They'd be great at that as well, because that's kind of what they were doing with like dancing shoes and stuff back in the day. Already, just in this
And,
other northern way.
At their first ever gig, they covered Rockefeller Skank as well. Funk Soul Brother.
Yeah.
All come
Yeah.
together.
Well, I've always thought the first album had elements of kind of northern soul in it. Something like, you know, like ones like Dancing Shoes and stuff like that. Just kind of has that kind of
yeah.
like, you can hear that in it with that kind of, you know what I mean? Like you can imagine that beat from Dancing Shoes being in sort of, you know, some gig in the 70s of Northern soul or something, and people dancing to it easily. So
Now I'm just thinking of that Latin American cover of Dancing Shoes that we played on that episode.
Yes, yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah, it was great. That I remember
I'd
that.
love the full album in that style. That would have been brilliant.
Yeah. How would it be from the afternoon?
Yeah.
Ding 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 ding. Ding 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 ding. No, it was Dancing Shoes again. That one, Arriba. But I wouldn't. I would love a sort of 70s funk. I reckon they've got it in there. With I Ain't Quite Where I Think I Am, they've got a funky album in them. If you, in many ways, they've been building towards a funky album, like from the past. Anyway, that would have been an acceptable way to go after AM. Would have been a funk album, I think. But
it wouldn't make
it's a fine line to get it right, isn't it? Yeah, it's a fine line. Fine line. If they changed producer and got like, who would do like a funk album with them? Maybe Ronson. He could do a funk album, couldn't he?
And to be fair as well, to add to that theory, I Ain't Quite Where I Think I Am was heavily in the set list at the start of the car tour before the album came out. Then it dropped out, but it came back late on in America. So maybe it might be a matter of, we like this sound actually, so maybe it'll come back.
Yeah, I just hope they do it better because I'm not a huge fan of that song. It sounds a bit too Bowie Young. I want them to do Bowie Young American 70s funk, but in their own way. I want it to have a different vibe to it. I don't want them to just copy it. And
All the
maybe they
bells and
could,
whistles.
if they could incorporate 70s rock and 70s funk together in an album, that would be the perfect dream.
Oh, if anyone can.
Well, certainly they've incorporated. They've incorporated many a genre together. They incorporated rock and hip hop with AM, so very easily, very smoothly. But I love the end of this as well because the outro is great. It's just all the band hitting form. The end though, with the way it ends with the hanging, just leaving it hanging. I love a hang.
Yeah.
I love when they leave it hang, like Brain. Love it. Brain, but yeah, great tune.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's so good, just so accomplished for.
I mean, it could, yeah.
Considering
it's
how
so
early
good.
they still are on in their careers as well.
I mean, you just sometimes hear some of the songs that they have and just think, wow, to have these songs that didn't make the album, you know. Yeah, and the Favourite Worst Nightmare B-sides were good, and these ones are even better. We say possibly the best collection. Suck It and See has something to say about that, doesn't it? Really, but then I think,
I think.
But then I
it's
try
very
and
close
think
between
which
the
one
two.
has the most that I could actually feasibly put on the album. There's not many from the Suck It and See I think that I would actually put on the album because it's a perfect. I fucking love that album. In fact, there wouldn't be any that I would put on the album actually. So, there's one that could be Evil Twin, but there's not a song I would take off. I wouldn't take a song off Suck It and See. I don't think.
I mean, if you consider
I would just add it.
two of the Suck It and See B-sides are collaborations as well, which normally is going to preclude them from being on the album as well.
Yeah.
It's
So
very
that-
unlikely.
I wouldn't put like, what's it called
You and
on
I,
the
or
album?
Little Illusion Machine.
No. I mean, in terms of the ones that aren't like that, like I wouldn't put, what's it called? Cadillac.
DST.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't put
Bonasonic,
DST
Shimmer
on the
Trap.
album. Bonasonic Shimmer Trap, I
Yeah.
wouldn't put them on the album. The closest one would be Evil Twin. You could maybe make a case for Evil Twin being on there over Library Pictures, let's say.
That's the
But-
one I'd swap it with if I had to.
But I don't think I would. But anyway, more on that next year. But with this, I could. Well, we'll save it maybe. But with this one, maybe there will be songs that I could feasibly put on this album. But have you got a little covers band and all? That was the best.
I'm gonna form a covers band and all.
That was
That
the
was
best
your best
Alex singing
Alex
voice I've
impression.
ever done. Yeah. Oh my god. I don't know if I can
that
ever
was
do
good,
that
that.
again. I
Keep
don't think I
that.
can do that again. If I
Keep
tried
that.
to do it, gonna form a covers band and all. No, it's not the same. It was a one-off. It was a one hit. Or at least it's there forever. I listened back to the edit. It'll sound shit anyway. So I was playing with this one. I was kind of with the way he sings it and the right side, and I kind of settled. I've got two. One that was bugging me that wouldn't get out of my head, but I'll save that one. But I've gone for Johnny Cash.
I have also gone for Johnny Cash.
Didn't you go for Johnny Cash? Am I mad? When I wrote Johnny Cash, I thought I'm sure Nick's picked Johnny Cash for this era as well. Did you pick Johnny Cash last week? Or was it Red Right Hand?
No, I
You
don't
said you'd
think
love
it
to hear him do a cover of Red Right Hand.
It was
maybe.
Red Right. It
It
was
was
Red
Red
Right.
Hand, yeah.
No, did I not
Jules
say?
Hand.
No, Red
don't
Right
know.
Hand.
Maybe I haven't
said,
said Johnny Cash then.
I said no, I haven't. I said Brian Ferry for Red Right Hand.
Oh, right, okay.
No, I've been listening to a lot of Johnny Cash this week anyway, so I think maybe that's
Yeah.
why. But I genuinely
just
thought
imagine him
I'd
doing
have to
it.
like justify it. I thought I'd really
Oh,
have to come and
no.
justify that, but
No,
it
I
didn't.
was. There was a male voice that I could hear singing it, and I couldn't place it. I went through them all. I was like Bruce Springsteen maybe, and then I listened to a bit of Bruce, and I was like maybe old Bruce, but. And then I was kind of going through some, and then I saw Johnny Cash, and I was like, that's it. I think I can imagine him doing it kind of like maybe a bit slower tempo, perhaps. But
Yeah.
I can imagine him doing it. And do you know what I couldn't get out of my head as well? And I don't know why, because this isn't an artist that I particularly know a lot about. I just couldn't get out of my head that I'd love to hear a version of this sung by Meredith Brooks. And I know that's really random.
I think that's the first time anyone's mentioned Meredith Brooks.
I know,
in
right?
these
I don't know
25
why. I
years.
was sat there and I thought, who's that? Who got woman's voice? And I thought, yeah, I'm a bitch. I'm a Meredith Brooks. Yeah, I can imagine Meredith Brooks singing this for some reason. I don't
That
know why.
alarm has just gone off in the headquarters of a record company. Going,
Someone's mentioned Meredith Brooks in the public eye.
get the
I can
venue
just
in
imagine her
Manchester.
being
booked.
like, I could just imagine doing a version of it where she's like, I don't know. I don't know why. I could hear it, like her voice doing it, whispering your baritone. I don't know. I couldn't get it out of my head.
Can I see you and raise you, Natalie and Brulia, if we're just going
Well-
people who've not been mentioned for 25 years?
No, well, I was actually thinking. I think a lot of '90s female singers could do a good job with this song. I think Garbage could do a good version of this song as well. But
love that.
yeah, I think that sort of rockier woman's voice would do well with this song. So that's kind of yeah. But yeah, that's who we went for. But the lyrics. So we've kind of obviously talked about this before, haven't we? And I've kind of settled on my whole because do you remember? Because I actually listened back to because I was off work last week, so I didn't listen to our episode. I listened back to Jeweler's Hands and Red Right Hand this week, and I was listening to my favorite, and I think where I settled by the end of the episode and where I've further settled now is based off what Alex said and what we kind of decided. I think this and Jeweler's Hands are about the same character, who is this sort of amazing womanizing guy. And I think Jeweler's Hands started life as that song. And then, as he said, when they took it to the desert and it ended up being longer and they needed more lyrics, and in his words, he wrote it about the experience, that bit about the experience of the song. And I think then Jeweler's Hands adapted, and he might have changed even some of the lines because they don't really work. Like there was one particular where it was like wisdom or something like that, or something like that, or what, like we said, that doesn't really make sense for him being a womanizer or something. I think he might have tweaked Jeweler's Hands, and I think even though Jeweler's Hands started out as the same character as this, and the theme's the same, that it's this guy that's amazing and etc. I think Jeweler's Hands by the end became more about Josh Homme and Alain and the experience and these people that are guiding them on their musical journey, like Sherpas through the desert. But this one is still what it was. So I think both originally about this character who's this womanizing guy who's like amazing and a bit of a dick as well, but Jeweler's Hands became something else as it went, which I like that it had a journey. Jeweler's Hands, it became
nice,
about something else. It is nice because they obviously wrote all the, because I think he said, didn't he, in fact he said in the John Kennedy one that all the lyrics were written before except the end of Jeweler's Hands, before they even went to the desert. So I like the idea that he wrote those lyrics based off the experience of being there while he was there. He wrote them in the desert, and then that changed the song. That's very cool. I like that. Yeah, which is a different way, I assume, and we'll find out next series. But it seems like from the Suck It and See documentary thing that they released that they were very much writing that as they went, because Alex is seen writing lyrics with an acoustic guitar in the recording bit with James Ford. Yeah.
I think there's a bit of it in the video for You and I as well. I think there's bits where he's sat in the studio still writing and what have you, and messing about his acoustic.
So maybe that was very much a kind of, that would explain a lot with that album. It makes sense that was written on the go, because it's very much a kind of has that feel to it. It was they were kind of doing it, this melodic album as it went, like you're writing it, the songs on the acoustic, and then Helders and Nick are coming up with a beat as you're doing the acoustic bit to it. It's all very very
I mean I think if
interesting.
you Suck It and See, if you look at Suck It and See lyrically, I mean lyrics like that can only be written on acoustic. I'm sorry. It's just
well, in my opinion, yeah. I mean, in my opinion, that's his best lyrical work. Only possibly topped by Tranquility, but yeah, I think he's an amazing lyrical album, which is annoying that it doesn't get the credit it deserves. But there we go. More, I'll be bitching about that for a whole 6 months soon, so that'll be fun.
I can't wait. I'll join you. It's fine.
Oh no, I won't be bitching too much because I'll just be in love. I'll just be in love, and it'll be summer, and it'll be great.
I might wear an open shirt for that album. I think it'll be
Please
summer.
don't.
No. Well, I am doing now. I've just said it as a joke, but now you said please don't. I absolutely will be.
I'll just keep kicking you out of the studio. Yeah, so I think that's where I sit on it. And the lyrics in this are more, we know it's about that, and they're more straightforward, I think, most of them. They're just kind of good, rather than there's anything to read into too much. But both sides, and softly came the growl from both sides. And if his whisper splits the mist, just think of what he's capable of with his kiss.
Early contender for best lyric of the song there. Just not even letting us settle in before he pulls a beauty like that out.
I mean, that kind of starting with the both. I like that idea of what he's done is because he could just start with "and softly came the growl from both sides," but the way he starts, he says the end of the sentence first and then explains what he means. I like that. So it's like both sides, softly came the growl from both sides. It's like the way a poem would start, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's cool. Yeah, the growl as well. Ooh, the growl of the man. What a guy! This guy sounds pretty hot. I gotta be honest. Yeah, what a guy. I thought because I thought this and Jules' Hands were the same, and I thought Jules' Hands was about Josh Homme. I just assumed that this one would be about Josh Homme, and then as I've kind of nuanced that theory as we've gone, obviously it's not this one. Obviously isn't about Josh Homme. Although I could imagine Josh Homme being very like slapping girls on the arse and splitting the mess with his whisper, couldn't you?
Well, I can now.
But that's great. And if his whisper splits the mist, so like, and just what he's getting like, if he's so good with his mouth that he can split the mist in the air with his whisper, then imagine what he can do to you with his kiss. That is hot. I'm sorry, that is a sexy line.
Yeah,
that is.
We've not even got to Suck It and See yet, and we've got to a line that's just pure sex. Really upsetting.
Well, Suck It and See isn't pure. There's no sex in Suck It and See. You keep your sex out.
Sorry.
My pure and beautiful.
Sorry, I meant
white
AM. I've got Suck It and See on the mind for when we've just
apart
talked
from the
about
title of the album. There's nothing sexy about that album. It's just pure love.
I apologise. I meant AM. I'm very sorry, Dan. Please forgive me.
It's pure love and heartbreak. That's all that is. Anyway, but yeah, no, great. Keep your dirty fucking, get your sweaty sex out of it, Nick. Apart from a couple, to be fair. Maybe She's Thunderstorms. There's a bit of that in there. But actually, no, there's not. I don't think there is any allusions to actual sex in Second Season. No, it's all very much love, isn't it? Love.
It is very much. Makes you sick, doesn't it?
I wonder where he was at that point. I wonder if he was in love at that point. I wonder if he'd met Ariel at that point when he wrote that. I don't think he had though. Felt like she came along. I don't know. No, I don't know actually because she's in the Are You Mine video, so she could have been around by then.
She's also in the You and I video as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So we had met her then. Oh, so Suck It and See might be about how he was feeling about her at the time. Well, that's nice. I like that. Imagine having an album written about someone being in love with you. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? It'd never happen for us, obviously. We're scum, but you know.
But then imagine. Well, speak for yourself. It might happen, yeah. Well, it might
definitely not.
Then
out of the two of us, I might, but there's no way someone's writing an album about you unless it's like a takedown album about you from all your exes get together and do like a hip hop takedown album about you.
I'd love that. I'd love like a Taylor Swift type thing where I'm just getting slagged off for like 15 tracks. But imagine someone writes an album about how much in love with you they are, and you love the album, let it consume you, and then you break up and you can't. And then not only do you lose a lover and a companion, you also lose one of your favourite albums. Is it worth it?
Well, I reckon though. You're talking about Ariel. I reckon though, if that happened, I reckon at first you wouldn't be able to listen to it, but I reckon as time goes on, you could nostalgically listen to it if it ended well. You know, I don't think that I don't know how it ended, but it seemed like it ended fairly amicably from from what our perception was. But I
forget. Not everyone's as bitter and twisted as me. Sometimes.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
Some people.
I thought I was bitter and twisted until I started speaking to you again. Fuck me. The next line is "Nice try, you cannot turn away, but nice try." So that's a cool line as well. I like what he's doing there because it's like you like she tried to turn away from him, but she can't, and it's like nice try, but you can't turn away.
Nice try.
I like the way he's structuring this. This is cool. Turn your legs into little building blocks. and with his index finger flicks you on your socks. What I like about that is A, the idea that your legs are stuck, you can't move, so they've turned to building blocks, huge big boulders. But I like the little he puts in there. Because it's kind of like he's describing them. Like he doesn't want to say building blocks because that'd be ridiculous for legs. So he's going little building blocks because that'd work for legs.
Lego, not Duplo.
Little building blocks. And yeah, with his index finger flicks you on your socks.
He likes thinking about socks, doesn't he?
He does. What do you think that means?
Someone's got a fetish.
As in flicks you on your. He flicks you on your socks.
See, I'm imagining her wearing knee socks, as I often do with women, to be honest. But I think
I didn't know if
it's
it meant
actually-
literally or
I
it's
see it
kind
as
of like
pull-
can flick you down.
That's-
Like like he's so powerful that he can flick you onto the floor onto your socks. I don't know whether it was literally or like because some of this song is like slap her ass literally, and some of it is metaphorically like he can split the mist.
Yeah.
So
I think there's a bit of both there, and then if you ally
It's a
the
bit very
socks
Red Right
thing
Hand,
with
this
the
song.
building blocks, yes, very much so. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
definitely in the minds during the writing of all this, I think.
yeah, I think so. Yeah, because it's very it's describing this character who's got superior powers to the rest of us almost, and he's manipulative and not a good guy, but he'll charm you like the devil. It's very. It's in fact, it's pretty much exactly Red Right Hand, but it's definitely the line. Yeah.
Sequel.
But yeah, flick you on your socks. I guess if it was knee socks, then yeah, flick you on your socks. I guess. But then he'd say knee socks. I think if he meant knee socks, he'd say knee socks. He doesn't know he's going to write a song called that at this point.
No, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
It flicks you on your socks. I've always just saw it as a metaphorical, like with his because he specifically says index finger. I just feel like it's almost like he can, because before that he's saying about how powerful he is. You can't turn away. He's think of what he's capable of his kiss. He can split the mist. It might not be. It might be flick you on your socks. I don't know what that means, but like a sort
I mean,
of
also if you think of it as if we go along with the legs being like little building blocks, you basically got no, legs have got. It's almost like a nice way of saying a different way of saying turning your legs to jelly, like where you can't really control your legs. Basically, it's a
Okay,
similar
it's
thing to
literal.
that. So oh, there we go. It's all coming to
yeah. I don't know
So I
what
suppose
I've always thought that
the
meant.
flick of the
Actually,
socks it's almost like testing you. It's like
Yeah.
testing you.
I guess I've always thought of it as him making you fall down or stand up with his finger, but it doesn't really. It wouldn't work for falling down because you wouldn't be flicking onto your socks, would you? But flick you on your socks.
I see it as almost like testing her resolve, as it were.
Resolve.
Oh, resolve. I almost see it like that. Yeah, but yeah, if her legs are, if she's kind of like not in control of her legs, and then him sort of giving her a flick to like test her, like that sort of thing. That's how I see it.
Should we see what the consensus is for that? Apparently, he's using a hyperforce to emphasize the power of the man. Ah, there we go. And how vulnerable the protagonist is to his strength. He only needs one finger to knock her down. That's what I thought then, is kind of what people are saying. Also establishes the man may not be genuinely caring. He just knocks her down without thinking twice. So because the phrase knocks the socks off means to surprise or shock someone. Of course. We didn't think of that, did we?
Of course, yeah.
There's that phrase in there, knock your socks off.
Absolutely,
Knock your socks off. That's what he's referring to. We didn't know. He's kind of twisting it like he likes to do that with phrases, doesn't he? So he's put his own slant on it, the phrase, like, not flicks you on your socks. Yes, of course, that's what you mean. So it was that. It's a power thing. You can just flicker with his... Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I go high-pitched. Won't be able to tell you on this mic if you did. I go high-pitched. He'll talk and make your voice sound high-pitched. So he'll talk, so that kind of thing he'll make you so sort of nervous to be in his presence that you'll be like, hiya.
Yeah. Like me with every woman I meet.
Yeah, you do that. Have a good night. Yeah, so right, and then dread to think if he got you on your own and whispering in your ear in that baritone. Ooh. Ooh. Josh Homme does have a very baritone
Does
Yeah,
have a very
that's
pleasing baritone.
yeah, that's another sexy one, isn't it? I dread to think what he'd do to you if he got you on your own and whispered in your ear in that baritone. Oh, Alex,
Oh, might try that. See
sexy.
what happens.
No, if you get a woman on her own and whisper in her ear, police will be there in 10 minutes. Rape alarm goes
10
off.
minutes
That'll be,
with the cuts.
that'll be the only high pitched noise that anyone will hear is the rape alarm going off from the toilets. Don't do it, Nick. Don't try this at home. It's the same stone. His heart was cut out of the same stone that they used to carve his jaw. I love that. Because
What a beautiful man he is.
that's what a great line that is, because it's like he's using the line, which is great, that his heart's made of stone, so he's not a good guy, he's not emotional, he's not got any emotion for you. But then he also takes that and says that it was cut, the heart's cut out from the same stone that used to make his jaw, because he's got a chiseled as fuck jaw. Like he's slam dunk two amazing metaphors using the one metaphor there. He's got two for the price of one out of that metaphor.
Yeah.
He's got no waste for Alex. No white line is wasted. No waste.
No deadwood.
No deadwood, yeah. Probably we get along. But I, yeah, I just love that. What a line! That's another contender. Best line of the song, probably. There's so many, but it's impossible not to feel inferior. Shout out to Jaw and Inferior as a rhyme.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
only Alex
absolutely.
because inferior is probably how most people say it, but inferior makes it stretch it out to Jaw. Great.
And often when artists like try and shoehorn in a rhyme like that, it doesn't work perfect. Fits.
No, Alex Alex is the master of that. He's been doing that since the first
Yes.
album. Like, so he can do that in that, using his sort of accent and his tone to get there. And he could catapult you back to your daddy or into any hissing misery. And he will tell. This is another one that's hard to say without going. And he will tell you how the day after a triumph. So he could catapult you back to your daddy or into any hissing misery. I do love that. It's so scathing as well. Back to your daddy. Back to your daddy. All the way back, not all the way back to your daddy. Crying to your daddy. I'm crying to your daddy. Yeah, catapult you back. A great thing, by the way, the metaphor, because this guy has so much power on you that he could just throw you back into the world without a second thought. So to think of a catapult for that and then call the song that is a great title as well. Or into any hissing misery, not content with it just being misery in Alex's scathing sort of metaphors of the the misery you'll be in without him. It's a hissing misery.
Hissing misery.
And he will tell you how the day out. It is very Red Right Hand, these lyrics, definitely.
It really
isn't
is.
It? Yeah, it really is. And he will tell you how the day after a triumph is as hollow as the day after a tragedy. Ooh. So this guy will even sort of always, I guess he's kind of breaking you down, isn't he? Like that kind of like a kind of, they say like when you're in an emotionally abusive relationship, the other person will kind of break you down so you never have any kind of positive emotions.
So even the good days seem bad.
Even the good thing seems bad, yeah. Even when you have a triumph, it'll be as hollow as he's told you that. He's put that in your head. Not a good man. Not a good man by all accounts.
No, it's not nice. Not nice.
No, not good
Do you
to
reckon
women.
Could
Could be
he's
Josh Homme then,
do you
actually.
reckon he's a worse man than the one in Red Right Hand? Or do you reckon it's just
No,
a
because
level?
I still believe that Red Right Hand is actually about the devil. So, hence the Red Right Hand.
Correct
Or
answer.
I guess it could be a metaphor for a guy who would... Nah, because the song's pretty explicit, isn't it? But Red Right Hand, like, yeah, he seems mystical. I guess this is mystical. And I guess when Jeweler's Hand started out live, that's another Red Right Hand-esque lyric. Because I think he went, unlike this one, where he went more with the split the mist kind of metaphors, like Red Right Hand does, where he makes the guy more mystical in Jeweler's Hands. So that explains those early lyrics. But I just think he strayed a bit too far into the mystical, and the guy doesn't really sound like much of a womanizer. He sounds like more of a wise old aide. A wise old sort of like someone you'd go to who will tell you, like, we can't finish something Jamie has become, you might say.
Yes,
Jamie
the
has become
guru.
the jeweler's hand. The guru, yeah. Jamie has become the jeweler. Jeweler, that's what you got to start calling it now. Jamie the jeweler.
It's like Josh has left the Horcrux in Jamie.
Only one can live while the other's. But that's why they don't make albums at the same time. It's like they're like, what are we gonna do with this song? What are we gonna do with this song? And then out of the mist, Jamie appears with a Moog synthesizer.
I will fix it.
Pink dust flying everywhere. um, but yeah, he'll extinguish any chance of escape when he slaps you on your ass or kisses your nape. I love this because he's been quite mystical and quite really sort of romanticized and stuff in the song. And this is what I mean by him. This is a sort of Englishism and Northernism as well. It's like
snapping
slap
back
you
to
on
reality
your
as
ass.
well.
Yeah, they'll slap you on your ass. It just comes out of nowhere in the song. I love it. It makes me laugh every time because
You don't expect
it's
it.
quite it's quite metaphorical.
You're fully immersed in the
and
mood,
deep,
aren't you?
and the mood is like they'll slap you on your ass.
Yeah. Oh, we're back.
Have you told you about when I got kicked out of a bar for slapping a girl on the ass, even though I didn't do it, but then got let back in when they realised I didn't do it? Told you about that?
No.
Probably one of the worst things that happened to me. I was at a work event in this bar in town, and this guy that worked with us, who was this proper northern loudmouth, like working class guy, it was like, buying chips, just in the bar chatting. Me and
I'm
him.
guessing he did it.
Yeah, he did it. Me and him and this other guy chatting, having a drink. Waitress walks up, young girl, bends down in front of us to put a glass down. He decides to not just slap her ass, but middle finger it, if you can believe.
Whoa. So
Right,
sexual assault.
okay.
And yeah.
Sexual assault, yeah. She turns round. I'm stood in front of her in the position that looks like it would have been me. I'm like, I didn't think she thought it would be me. I'm just like shocked that this has even happened. Like, this is offensive. And like, say what you will about my checkered past. That's the step to, I only hurt the women that love me. But that was just disgusting. And I'm like, well, and then she walks off. Next thing I know, I'm chatting. Bouncer in front of, by the way, all the girls that work at the company that we work for comes over and kicks me out, grabs me and goes, "You're out of here." And I'm going, "It wasn't me, mate. It wasn't me." And he's like, "Yeah, whatever." So he kicks me out. Luckily, the guy who did it was good enough at least to come out and say to the bouncer, "I got to fess up. It was me. I'll leave. Let him back in. I did it." He was just stood next to me, and they were like, "All right, fair enough. It wasn't you, obviously." So let me back in. But by that point, I've been tarred with the brush then. So I'm speaking to a couple of the girls that like work in HR, and they're like, "What happened before you got kicked out?" And I was like, "Yeah, you grabbed some girl's ass." And I was like, "No, I didn't. I didn't do it." So now I'm the guy
I'm still here.
But now forever, just because that happened and I got back in, I'm forever with everyone. The guy that slapped that girl's ass, whether I did it or not, it's irrelevant. That's my.
Well, I suppose all those asses you did slap. You got
I've never
tarred
done
with the
that.
brush for the one that you didn't.
No,
So
I've only
why
done
you
that.
cried wolf?
I only done that during sexual encounters where they were willing. I've never slapped a girl's ass who wasn't willing. I've never sexed with someone is what I'm trying to say, Your Honour. I've never done it. I think I'd have to make that clear.
The jury will now retire to consider its verdict.
God, don't listen back to any evidence. But yeah, it was horrible. It was a horrible moment because you just you've been shamed for something you didn't do. That's terrible. And like the girl was like looking at me. I was getting dragged out, and I was like, "It wasn't me. It wasn't me." I mean, I don't think I look like you see me in person stood there. I don't look like the guy that's got the balls to grab a girl's ass who's like middle finger.
no,
doer. I'm not.
you're
I'm
not
not
a
that
threat.
guy. I'm not that guy. You didn't have to say that, but yeah, I'm not a guy. Oh, that's a good thing, isn't it? For some reason, I took that in a sort of ego, macho way as an offence that I'm not a threat. like what? No, I am.
I'm a threat. I'll show
Went all primal then for a second. Like, no, I am.
Meet me in Disney in 10 minutes. I'll show you how much of a threat I am.
Yeah, that was. But yeah, horrible that. But yeah, that's grabbing the arse is. He's even. But apparently, he's so alluring that you would queue up to listen to him pissing, which I like.
Which reminds me of the whole. You see, it's mainly like horrible lads online who'll say it. If there's like if some girl's put a selfie up of herself, it's like, "Oh, I'd crawl through broken glass to listen to her fart through a walkie-talkie." Is one I've seen, and it's very much a nicer version of that. I don't want anyone hearing me piss, really.
No, definitely not. I mean, people do obviously all the time, but
Yeah.
I mean, my girlfriend hears me pissing daily, several times.
You nearly said she listens to me pissing then, like it's a specific thing. She's like, "Oh, I'm done."
Well, no, I think because of the it's that kind of stage where
Yeah.
nothing more than a pee. No, obviously, closed doors, locked doors, and that. But if I
Send it out to the shops for half an
but
hour.
I'll have a piss while she's brushing her teeth, that kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Saves having
Yeah.
to turn a tap on, doesn't it?
It's hygienic. But
Sterile.
no. But I wouldn't, you'd have to be quite the allure for women he's just met to want to queue up to him pissing. It's a great
Especially
little...
if it's one of them proper, like, dad pisses in the morning. You know, the ones where it's like...
It's a great little comedy line for Alex to come up with for that. Like, listen to pissing. And again, pissing, very northern. Again, he's not, for people saying that he's gone all American. Very, very northern. Great line. And hang around to watch some poor girl bluff. So when you queue up to listen to him pissing and hang around to watch some poor girl bluff, so that's like some girl trying to bluff her way into his advances, into his bluff her way into his attentions. Yeah. And then they chase him down the avenue, incessantly pestering him to let him join the club. So, chasing down the avenue is like kind of Beatlemania-esque sort of image in my head.
That's the
Austin
first thing
Powers.
that passes my head, yeah.
And then they chase him and incessantly pester him to let him. So I've got the lyric that came up here was let him, pestering him to let him join the club, but I think it's incessantly pestering him to let them join the club. That makes sense.
Let them
join the club.
Yeah, that's what's
But
written down. What I've got as well. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Don't
it's
know why
definitely
I've
incessantly pestering him to let. He says, but you know what? I think the confusion is, again, another northernism. He doesn't say them. He says and I think the algorithms can't handle that, or whatever. The computers can't handle that. So it's incessantly pestering him to let him join the club. So it's gone down as him, but it is M, which is them. More of that next week.
Well deciphered.
He knows how to put a cork in the fuss and just how to shut up the charming ones of us. And I've seen him talking to your lady friend. I love that. Charming, shut up the charming one of us. I love that as well. Just how to, as if like, even though you think you're charming, if you think you're charming with the ladies, he knows exactly how to shut you up. And that woman, that lady friend that you're speaking to, I've seen him talking to her, and he will nick her. There's a dust track waiting for betrayal where he'll teach you all the bits they missed. So, what do you think? What dust track? What are you imagining when he says dust track?
I see it as a almost like a long road ahead, but it's uncertain. Like 'cause it's not clearly marked like a normal road is. You know what I mean?
Well, in a similar way, I
In a
imagined it
relationship
as a dust road, but the dust is up. Like like when a car drives down it, and then the dust follows it behind it, like a dust track. So it's a dusty track, so you can't.
You can't see ahead, and you don't know what's going to happen.
So
Basically.
you don't know what's going to happen, and you're waiting to be betrayed on it. It's waiting for betrayal.
Yeah.
But I thought dust track was I thought it must be a commonly used term, but I googled it and there's just nothing on it apart from the fact there's a book from 1942 called Dust Tracks on a Road, which is an autobiography by a black American writer and anthropologist, Zara Neale Hurston. Other than that, dust track isn't a kind of sort of dusty road but dust track is
Dusty
actually
trail.
not an dusty trail. Dust track's kind of an invention of Alex, unless he's referencing that book, which seems to stretch. But like, it's just sort of his. But it's funny that even though it's an invention, I think it did its job of giving us the image that he wanted to.
Yeah, it's worked. Yeah, we've both gone on similar lines there, haven't we?
Yeah, I think it's that kind of the dust track, especially this is the point when the song goes western as well. Probably influences that.
Yeah,
That's it, isn't it? There's a dust track waiting for betrayal. That's my favorite part of the song, I think, like as a whole unit. And then where I teach you all the bits they missed. Interesting. But then after that, he just repeats himself, doesn't he?
Nice try, can't turn away, but nice try.
Nice try. We got no John Kennedy, obviously, no shipping forecast. But we do have our favourite lyrics.
Too busy with the mind on clever lines.
I think I've got two in the sense that I've got a comedy one that just makes me laugh every time I hear it, which is he'll extinguish any chance of escape when he slaps you on your ass or kisses your nape. Just every time I get a little chuckle about the image that gives me in my mind. But But then I think I'd probably have to go with as an actual sort of proper line. It's the same stone his heart was carved, the same stone that they used to carve his jaw. It's impossible not to feel inferior. But there are many.
Satisfaction.
Right, there's quite a few
Yeah.
options in this.
For me, so I was going to go with if his whisper splits the mist. Just think of what he's capable of with
That
his
is a
kiss.
very good line.
But I eventually settled on he knows how to put a cork in the fuss and just how to shut up the charming ones of us.
Very good. It's interesting that this isn't one that's like a lot of humbug where we have to read into it. It's very straightforward, but it's just a lot of good lines. It's just a series of good descriptive, emotive, lines. Like he's really described the character very well. Like the person, because I think didn't he say in the interview he was trying not to do as many characters on this album, but this was one that was a character-based one. And I feel like this is, very much. Probably it's almost like I'd say he gets this character across in this song just as well as a novel would get a character across with much less time. Like I've got the perfect sense and image of this guy, even like down to the core details. More than and he doesn't even like Red Right Hand is a very long song lyrically, for example, and he does it in a lot less lines. Quite a short lyrical song, really. But yeah, really good work, Al.
Absolutely.
Alex.
Absolutely. Well
Favorite
done
musical
again,
moment?
Alex. Favorite musical moment.
That sound in your ear that make you get up and down.
You changed all these jingles. You changed up the old jingles that you could for new ones, new versions of the same song for in between whatever people say and Fate West Nightmare, didn't you?
Yeah.
So you changed them, and then you haven't for Humbug. But will you be changing them ever again? Is the question that I hear the audience screaming. Will you be changing up like the review one and that one and stuff to other versions?
Possibly. I mean, the change will probably come when there's another tour, I would imagine, rather than because
well, that's not going to happen before we depart. I'm
that
afraid.
reviews
But
one comes from the latest tour. So no,
that
we'll
won't be
see.
happening
I
until
mean,
we're over. No, there's not going to be anything next year, is there? Not until the very end, maybe. But then we won't.
maybe I'll have a look at. Maybe I will change some of them up. Maybe let's see what happens. Let's see what happens.
Because
when stage 4 comes
I don't
around.
want you to ever change. What's the one I love?
The information action ratio, ain't that the place to go?
Let's
You're
stay
never allowed to. Can we agree that you're never allowed to change that? That has to stay as what it is.
I will never ever be changing that. Never.
But favorite musical moment, I'm gonna go actually because it'd be very easy to go with the bass again because it is excellent.
Yes, it would.
And it does stand out. But I'm gonna go with the various different lead guitars because I think Jamie sort of guides the song like the jeweler that he is, the Sherpa. So I think the lead, and Alex obviously has some input in that, but I just think that the lead kind of guides this song the whole way through and is the core of it, is the beating heart of it. So I'm gonna go with that.
Well, in line with that, I'm gonna go for where it starts getting into the Western vibes. That point, I think. Again, it would have been easy to pick the bass as well. Would have been, but
It would have been. It's
but
an
we've done
excellent
that.
bass line. It's dum, 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 dum,
Yeah.
dum. It's very good bass line. But the lead guitar just kind of, I guess, I do when I think of it, I do think of the bass. But listening to it for the past few days, particularly instrumentally, I've a new appreciation for what the Cookie Man is doing. So
Cookie
yeah,
Man.
I do have a little hot take, a little hot question, just a question to run by.
She flicks a red hot revelation off the tip of her toe.
It'll be a question that comes up a few times in this era, I think. But would you replace Fire and the Fud with this song on the album?
Yes.
Yeah, I would too, I think. Yeah, I don't think it would. I know we've said this before, but like when we said we wouldn't change any on whatever, but we would change the bad thing for What If You're Right First Time. I think this would not change the album in any negative way to go from Potion Approaching to Catapult to Dance Little Light. Or even if you move them back, you can move them around a bit. They don't have to be the same order, but like, I don't think this will be a problem. I guess it does have a kind of different sound to the album, though. I guess this doesn't it?
Yeah, I think in terms of sound, I think I Haven't Got My Strange might fit better.
You won't put my. Would you put I haven't got my strange
Well,
on over?
no, I wouldn't put it on.
Fire Forward?
No,
Oh,
no, I
right.
wouldn't. I wouldn't have it in that conversation at all. But I think in terms of musically, I think it would fit better than this. But yeah, it's the acoustic that makes you think that though. It's the fact there's an acoustic guitar on it when there isn't.
Yeah. Well, just as well, it doesn't have that. It's a different pace to the album. And I know Pretty Visitors is too and stuff, but it feels like a very. I don't know. I guess in a way though, it's the same way that Fire and the Flood is on AM, isn't it? It still works perfectly, even though that album is a series of like hip hop songs, then number one party anthem.
You mean number one party anthem? Yeah.
What? What did I
You
say?
just said Fire and the Thud. You said Fire and the Thud.
No, I meant Fire and the
Thud.
Oh, did you say Fire and the Flood? Sorry, no, I didn't. I meant
sorry, I meant number one party anthem. Yeah.
No, I meant Fireside. I meant Fireside.
Fireside.
I said Fire in the Flood because it's in my brain. Yeah. The way that Fireside goes on AM is, which I listened to today, by the way. It came on when I was exercising, and I was like, still a fucking great tune that.
He's got one of my favourite lyrics in there as well. We'll get to that.
Yeah, I think I know what it is. Yeah, I know what it is. Does it go by dancing?
No, wrong.
No, is it not that one? There are several though, to be fair.
That place on memory lane you like still looks the same,
Yes, of
but
course. Something about it's changed.
Yeah.
Story of your life.
Yeah. Yep. Right, well, this is the point of the show where Dan has enlisted the aid of artificial intelligence to come up with a witty intro for we've been AI'd. And he has fed in some select information. Yes, Dan, it is Newcastle, yes.
Don't know what I think about Newcastle.
Yeah. Let's play the jingle.
You push the button and we'll do the rest.
Ladies and gentlemen, gather round and prepare yourselves for a wild ride into the wacky world of Arctic Monkeys with their infectious tunes, Sketched. Imagine this, Sketched is coming to your party swinging all his keys round like a modern-day swashbuckler. But who exactly is Sketched? He's that cumbersome protagonist with poison in his spit and compliments for your assets. And just when you think you've escaped his clutches, there's you, changed, transformed, a new name required with lips-firing accomplishments and magazine skin. So as you back into the absurdity and charm of Sketched, remember one thing. Watch out for Sketched at your next party. He's swinging those keys, and who knows what mischief he'll bring.
Song about Miles. This has been...
I mean, Sketch has got to be the most sort of northern song of this whole...
Yeah.
Probably since the first album.
I mean, I still describe like people and places as sketchy now. That's actually where he's got it from.
He's got it from, yeah. Yeah, it's a very northern thing that we do.
It really is, yeah.
Yeah, so people say, like, again, this era too American.
It's not all flat caps and whippets.
Don't think they say tires have gone bald in America, do they? Maybe they do, actually.
No, I don't think they do.
No, I don't think they would. It sounds like a very English thing to say, doesn't it? That's gone bald.
Tires have gone bald. Yeah. Well, interesting. I'll look that up for next week. Excellent.
On the edge of my seat. Tune in for that. Oh, and I've got a little, just for subscribers that maybe not everyone stays for the post-show chat, I got a little vid to play in the post-show chat that the only reason I'm saving it, sorry for you folks, is that it only works as a visual joke, so there's a visual aid, so there's really no point in me playing it for now, but it's there, so stick around if you're a subscriber. Baby!
Did visual aids come after visual HIV? And we're done. This has been Series
HIV
3, Episode 13, focusing on Catapult. We'll be back next week with Sketched. Say goodbye to the nice people, Dan.
Goodbye.
Later.
Don't Believe the Hype is hosted and produced weekly by Nick Lee and Dan Holt. The music used in the titles is royalty-free music courtesy of Les FM. Don't forget to subscribe on your podcast player of choice to be notified every Wednesday when a new episode is released. And if you want to help us out further, be sure to like and review to help make us more visible to like-minded souls. We will see you next week with more of the same.